Yo, welcome back to the channel. Jujubear here. We're going to be playing in the Culture Clash Flash tournament that was organized by Conceivable, and I'm going to be playing up against Conceivable himself in this match here. We'll see how it turns out. Now, in Culture Clash Flash tournament, if you didn't already know, each faction is organized into a certain culture bracket. There's a couple, like there's Iberian cultures, which is like AVA and Lusitani. There's Greek factions, which involves like, you know, Athens, that kind of thing. Now, Rome belongs to a faction group that's somewhere, I can't remember, it involves one other faction, but you can only use like one faction from that culture once. So I've used my Iberian faction one, I think I've used my Barbarian faction once, and now I'm going to be using up my Roman card. So I'm burning this card just because I know how good Conceivable is. I've never beaten Conceivable ever before, so I'm going to be trying to throw, you know, the kitchen sink at him. But this proved to be a very bad decision for me because I don't ever play with Rome. I don't play with Rome. I think I've played twice with Rome in a multiplayer competitive battle. And you'll probably see why it's not going to turn out well for me. So I was thinking, Lusitani, what's Lusitani's weaknesses? And that is their lack of armor, and so I'm going to be able to use slingers pretty well against them, and I'm also going to be able to use cavalry against them pretty well. So I brought two shock cav, Soci Equites Extraordinary. These aren't really brought too often by any Roma player I've seen. So I've got two of them, one on each flank. I've also got two Evocati Cohort out on each flank, so very strong flanks. Two Vigiles to defend my Evocati to get into combat very nicely. So auxiliary Balearics also. I got three of them. Conceivable is going to be able to fire in on this one Balearic Slinger here, but I should be able to win out if I kind of focus fire here. I've got two Hastati in the center and four Principes and a Legatus General. So I didn't go crazy with the infantry. I probably should have brought more, to be honest. Over here, I'm actually going to get caught out by this Scutari Cav, but luckily I have the Vigiles up the front to defend. He's only got Iberian Swordsmen here. Let me just put it in pause here while we check out Conceivable's army. So Scutari Cav, one on that flank, one on this Cav. He's got two Iberian Slingers in the center, two Iberian Slingers on the flanks, two Iberian Swordsmen on each flank there, Veteran Shield Warriors on each flank, two of them. He's got two Veteran Shield Warriors and three Lusitani Nobles in the center. So definitely a lot of very strong infantry brought from my opponent here. I probably should have matched him, to be honest, but I didn't, and it's probably not going to pay off too well for me. He's going to be able to get his Veteran Shield Warriors into this engagement here. I do have my Evocati Cohort in this engagement without taking a charge, really, but I am losing Vigiles very quickly. My Balearics are able to defeat his Iberians over there. I did get a counter charge. This is not good. He gets a nice charge with his Lusitani Nobles onto my Principes. So I'm gonna reinforce with my Hastati where I can. Principes getting into the Lusitani Nobles. I'm gonna have to get these Hastati in fairly quickly. He is wrapping around with these Veteran Shield Warriors, which is not good, into my Principes. So I'm actually gonna bring a Socii Equites Extraordinary in here to get a nice charge. Over here we have got an engagement started. Veteran Shield Warriors coming up against these Veteran Shield Warriors and Lusitani Nobles. I did notice this side had more Lusitani Nobles, so that's why I was trying to pull away from this flank and reinforce over here. But even then, while I'm over here, I'm not going to be able to win it out. I just don't have enough support. I don't have enough cav, really. And that's what it really kind of boils down to. I can't get recharges. So these Principes and Hastati are failing to hold up against these Lusitani Nobles woefully. I don't really know what I did wrong because I don't play as Rome. So I mean, if you guys can spot what I'm doing wrong, fucking just tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I was at a loss. These Soci Equites Extraordinary have to get into these Iberian Slingers, and I'm managing to defeat this Shield Warrior, but only just. Man, the Lusitani are actually, they can really meet head to head against these Roman factions. It's hectic. He's going to get a very nice rear charge with these Iberian swords. Evocati Cohort are going to hold on for a little bit longer at least. I do have all of my slingers left, which is great, but I don't know how much longer they can hold. I really should be getting into the back of his units with these Equites Extraordinary. I don't know why I'm not. Like, this is like what they are used for, but for some reason I'm just not. But this is pretty good. This has opened up the rear here. I'm shooting into the back of this Lusitani Noble, though he does have a Scutari Cav inbound. I should be getting my, here we go. So I've got my Equites Extraordinary on the case. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch that unit before it gets in here. I'm managing to wreck this one Iberian Slinger. I'm going to try and get another rear charge into the back of this Veteran Shield Warrior before it destroys my Avocado cohort. Again, getting a Vigile in here to defend my Balearic Slingers. I kind of realized that these Balearic Slingers are kind of like my last hope. I haven't been able to deal with his Iberian Slingers, which is real bad because now they're focus firing on my units, and my Avocado cohort, I should be bringing them back absolutely to the defense of the, the rest of my units, but I'm not for some reason. Managed to get a rear charge on these Veteran Shield Warriors. Don't know if it's enough to bring them out of the fight. The Avocado cohort have moved on to a different target. Managed to finish off the Scutari Cav. So absolutely a very close battle so far. And it looks like it's probably not going to work out for me, just purely by the fact that I brought the wrong Cav. I don't think I should be bringing these Sokii Equites Extraordinary. They're a little bit too expensive, and a lot of the other roaming Cav will do. Like if it's heavy and you can get a decent charge, it doesn't matter how much charge bonus it has. They'll do the job, like it's fine. These Avocado cohorts, 74 men, getting into combat here against these Veteran Shield Warriors. They should be able to do well, but I mean, they're just unsupported at this point. They don't have the right units, and we've got all these units over here on this flank left over as well, which includes Veteran Shield Warrior and an Iberian Swordsman, so it's not going great for me. I get a nice charge in here, get a couple of kills in these Veteran Shield Warriors and this Lusitani Noble. I'm going to pull out and try and cycle. But man, these Iberian Slingers are just murdering me. These Balearic Slings are not able to hold up. There are so many targets that my Balearic Slingers could take at this point in the battle, but there's just too many. They don't know what to shoot at this point. I mean, I don't know what to shoot. I think I was trying to get rid of a lot of infantry at that point, where I probably should have just dealt with the enemy skirmishes. So I get another charge in here against these Lusitani Nobles. They were a pretty high value target, but again, the fucking Iberian Slingers just murdering me. These Sokii Equites Extraordinary have decent armor. I mean, 60. But they just don't have a missile block chance, which is what I desperately needed, to be honest. So Legatus General are going to be coming in here against the Veteran Shield Warriors and Lusitani Swordsmen, and they're just going to be murdered. So that was a pretty close game by the middle, but for some reason I couldn't get around my opponent, which is what I really need to do, and take my opponent out of the battle. So I think it was probably down to army picks. He just picked a very nice Lusitani army here. Plenty of nobles, plenty of Veteran Shield Warriors, and lots of support units as well. Those Iberian Slingers just, got the job done. So that's Bear Cav out of the Culture Clash Flash Tournament in the semi-finals. That means Conceivable goes on to the grand final against AVA Granitor, which was a fucking excellent battle. It's a best of 3. And the first battle was incredible. I don't want to talk it up too much, but it was probably one of the best battles that I've ever seen. So I'm going to get my hands on that replay and I'm going to bring it to you guys. I'm very excited to show you. So hopefully we'll see you guys in the next battle of the Culture Flash Tournament. Big thanks to Conceivable for organizing the tournament and also facing up against me in this battle here. And we'll see you guys in the next battle. This is Jujubear signing out. Peace.